Okay, Bellular has a new clip called "This Might Save World of Warcraft," and obviously this caught my attention because I didn't know Bellular thinks that Warcraft needs saving because he was so positive about Warcraft. It is in such a good place. It is doing so well. So why would you need to save World of Warcraft? But yeah, let's see. What the comments say, since there are only two, I might as well read them. Honestly, if they bring it down to 30 days, it would be great. 90 days between seasons. Okay. Oh, 30 days between each small patch and then 9 days between seasons. That's way too short, in my opinion. BFA had nice content cadence, though. Did it? I mean, it wasn't too bad, but...
About the thing.
What were the seasons in BFA? Really? Oh, yeah, I'm... Okay, so you had 4 seasons, really. You had... Because you had 4 raids. And you had the Gahoon season, you had the... Attack on the Zala lore, whatever it's called, season. You had the Bethnic season, and then you had the Corruption season. 4 seasons, 5 months each, basically. Like, if we just... You know, if we just go on average... well, 6 months each. Yeah, that's not a very good cadence. Right? And then let's say there's a 0.5 patch in between each of them, then 3 months per patch, when then you have the season every 6 months. That would not be a good cadence. Though I believe Corruption was a pretty long season, probably 8 months, so it takes away from the others. But yeah, that's not a very good cadence if you think about it. That's way too long. I believe Gahoon lasted way too long of a fucking season. It was fucking horrible. Let's see.
We know all the patches, and it's a patch cadence that is more aggressive than Legion, I guess. Technically.
Technically, yes.
It is every 60.08 days if you divide a year by 6, instead of every 77 days. So there you have it.
Wow.
Yeah, hey, I mean, man, interesting. So they posted...
But 77 days was between... It was for each half season. Because 277 days was a season, right? 154 days, or one thing like that. 154 days was pretty much a season. So technically, if we're gonna go by that logic of this being 60.6 or 66.6 or whatever, probably 60.6, whatever he said, a season will last longer technically. So it's not as aggressive as Legion in that regard. But yeah.
Posted the full roadmap for this year. That's definitely good. That's the sort of thing we have never got before.
And we've asked for on multiple occasions.
Okay. I don't think that it really matters if they show you a roadmap versus not. Overall, in the grand scheme of things. Because if you trust the developers, you don't need a roadmap. You're like, oh, they're going to deliver. I would say most majority players in Final Fantasy XIV do not look at the roadmap. At this point, they just trust. Like, obviously, people make content out of it because, you know, why not? It's free content. But I don't think majority players go actively and look for a roadmap of how this patch or how this expansion is going to go. They just play the fucking game because they love the game and they trust the game. Making a big deal out of a roadmap just shows how people... like, do not trust the developers, okay? Second of all, there's nothing in this roadmap that screams content at you. There's 2 things that are actual probably going to be content, not for long though, which is Primalist Tomorrow and Return to Forbidden Reach. That's about it. The Heritage Armor is like, I think it's like a 10-minute quest specifically for human and orc, so not even the majority of players. There's like good chunk, don't get me wrong, but like grand scheme of things, there's less human plus orcs compared to every other race. So it's like, it's cool, but it's whatever. Holiday updates. I'm assuming holiday events. I mean, wow, you know. Trading post is a pretty much a passive trading post. Like, it's, you don't actively interact with it. You just, well, I mean, you do, but like you grab materials like the coins you use in the trading post from the content you were already doing, right? So it's like, I mean, how active is this really? It's like, it's just something to spend some of your coins on, which is fine. It would get people to do the content that they probably are not doing as much just in order to get the cosmetics from Trading Post, but to call it content, I mean, right. Again, yeah, it's a minor patch, I get it, but it's like, it doesn't really offer anything, right? It's like, here is something to do, because better than nothing, right? It's like, whatever, right? White and gray transmogs, in my opinion, that's not a patch feature, that's like a hot fix. And yeah, that's about it. And then you have the season patch, which is really where the chunk of the, like, the actual content is, right? So yeah. And we are assuming that season 3 would be end of the year, so this is a whole year of patch notes. So if we divide by 6, you know, 60 days approximately. Yeah, that's way too long. It's like 180 days per fucking season. It's way too long.
Many times because it's
Yep.
hello. What's our game? Should I play this game, please?
Yubara said
yep.
it's something they wanted.
And yeah, I mean, to answer that question, no. Up until season 1, you're not really adding anything, so no.
To do for more teams back in June, so now they've actually done it this
So
time
nothing
around.
changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, straight up, they're listening to people's feedback. That's good.
Sure is.
Crazy.
No, they're not.
Yeah, we
No,
can
they're
actually
not.
dive into it. There's a little bit from Holly on the
No, they are definitely not listening to people's feedback. They're listening to whatever feedback suits them best, okay? They're not listening to player feedback. They listen to what suits them best. Same with like how they reverted the World Quest from being a bi-weekly to now being a daily. They're listening to the wrong people. It's like, oh, I have nothing to do. Okay, well now, let's say the weekly quests, like if you do them together, would be 7,000 rep, which I don't know what the actual number is, right? It's just easier to divide. Now it's going to be 1,000 rep each day. So now people who don't have time to log in every fucking day are going to have to log in every fucking day to do the 1,000 rep, or they're missing out. However, people who had it on a bi-weekly schedule could still get the 7,000 without pressure. So, no, you did not listen to... You listened to the player feedback, and then you went back on your word saying you're listening to player feedback. Because some people said that they have nothing to do. Like, they're listening to feedback that they feel that they want to do, okay? They're not listening to actual player feedback, they're listening to some player feedback that suits their fucking bullshit.
the road ahead. So, okay, she calls out the patch Cadence of Legion, which people liked. And I think the thing to remember here is Legion is an expansion that had a plan and it went to that plan.
Mm-hmm.
The next two expansions didn't. And I think that's the really pivotal thing about the next two expansions, right? Like, yeah, BFA completely fell off the rails immediately because people hated its guts at launch.
The only reason BFA fell off the rails is because throughout alpha and beta, people gave feedback on Azerite armor and how problematic that armor will be, and Blizzard said, no, we know what we're doing, we're not listening to player feedback when it matters. And what'd you get? Azerite power, which was fucking dogshit. Other than Azerite power, by the way, the dungeons were overall okay, minus like maybe 2 or 3 that were like kind of shitty. But overall, the dungeons were okay. The expansion, in my opinion, was okay. The systems, or more, it's not even the systems that were the problem. The accessibility to the systems was the fucking main issue. That was the biggest problem with BFA. Whenever you think BFA, it's like, did you not like essences? Or did you not like getting essences? Because essences were fucking awesome. But you couldn't get them. And once you got them, you couldn't get them on your alts for free, right? Or like for like the smallest fucking effort. No, you had to redo the whole grind to get the essences. That's bad. Acquisition of the system, very bad. System itself, pretty good. Tell me one person who didn't like playing with corruptions. Like once you got your corruptions going. Everyone loved fucking corruptions. Could you get them though, easily? Nope. If your main character progressed without the corruptions and all that stuff, could you get the corruptions on your other characters? Nope. Then, yeah, obviously people are gonna hate it, okay? So, yeah, acquisition of systems was always bad. BFA, if it did acquisition right from the get-go and didn't fuck it up and let people play the fucking game instead of grinding out the stupid-ass system in order to be able to play the game, it would be a fantastic expansion. Story-wise, it was pretty bad. I mean, you know, but cinematics were cool. The fight between Sylvanas and Saurfang was really fucking cool. Some of the questing for that was kind of okay, right? So we went to places that we didn't go in a while, like Siege of Orgrimmar area to save Bane and all that shit. So it's like there were some cool things about it. We fought Ajara, which is really cool, right? The Jaina storyline was really fucking nice, right? The whole, like, she's blaming herself for her father's death and all that shit. It's like, I'm sure some people cried. I didn't. But, like, there was a lot of good things about BFA. However, it's going to be remembered as one of the worst, not because of lack of content, not because, you know, the systems were bad, just because it was impossible to play the game because you had so much fucking grinding to do to be able to play the game. And that's the biggest issue with WoW since Legion, basically. Legion was kind of okay because the systems were new, so people enjoyed the grind. But after that, it's like, bro, just fucking stop with the grind. And even in the interview with Preach and Eon, when he says, like, well, it was too late to change during BFA, we already had the system in place. Like, the system is not the problem. You making us grind the fuck out of a system is the fucking problem. Especially because everyone knows this system is going away. Or it's going to be a massive catch-up to it in the next patch. That was the main issue. And while we get in Dragonflight, well, you know what? The systems don't work, so we're not gonna do any systems, you get less fucking content. Yeah, the systems worked. The acquisition for the systems did not.
Right, with like all the Azerite gear and all of that, and then patch
Can't say that
8.1
enough.
had to include a whole bunch of things that would help to offset the Azerite gear problem. And then they made the essences, which had to go on top of the Azerite gear, and, you know, yada, 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 yada. So that obviously will have, you know, messed around with the production schedule of BFA, which at the time was one of the slowest ones that we'd had, and we weren't very pleased about that. Little did we know that Shadowlands was about to happen, where we'd be having patches, major patches, every, like, 220 to 240 days.
Yep.
Because they completely f***ed it. So it's kind of weird.
And again, same, like, of course, yeah, like, you want to get out content, but the same thing with Shadowlands. Fucking pull the ripcord earlier. Why are you waiting for 7.15 to pull the fucking ripcord? And everyone knew that 7.15 or 7.2, that's when they're gonna pull the ripcord. Everyone fucking knew. Everyone who played since Legion knew exactly what WoW was gonna do. Everyone knew they're gonna introduce systems, they're gonna make them a fucking annoying as shit, and then they're gonna introduce the fix to make the systems more accessible. Motherfucker, just do it as soon as fucking possible. We do not need to wait for 9.3 to have a fucking functional game.
Whereas now, like with Dragonflight, they say there should always be something around the corner. There's 6 content patches, fairly
There
evenly
isn't.
spaced out around 2023. What you can basically extrapolate from that is that season...
To the people who say that's like these mini patches are actually like a lot of, like, they're good content and all that shit. Okay. I don't remember who said this, okay? But it was actually Matt, which is kind of funny. Okay, so there's this thing where it's like people. This was in their video about the world quest change and all that stuff, like the weekly rep renown bullshit that was bi-weekly, now it's going to be daily. And he said something like that, where like people were complaining that's like they have nothing to do after they finish their bi-weekly shit, and now they're like stuck and they have nothing to do. Have you got Lore Master? Have you got all the reps up? Because, like, what's the difference between you farming this fucking rep, which gives you absolutely no player power and just cosmetics to that, and going to farm some other old shit fucking rep that you don't have? Oh, because it's not current content? Motherfucker. Don't ask for more content if you're not even doing the content that's already there. Are all your pets maxed out? Are all this maxed out? Are you doing plus 20s? Did you do your plus 20 for the week? There's actually a lot of content you can do so long as you don't focus on just the current content. There's no way you finished all the old content. Only Annie Fuchsia did it, okay? With a 100% achievement score. So don't tell me, oh, but there's no content for me to do because I finished my fucking world quest. Get the fuck out of here. There's so much content you can do. Go farm out some old mogs, all that bullshit. It's like, oh, but I'm not interested in it. What are you interested in? Fucking having a checklist of shit to do? Make yourself your own checklist. Okay, I have the fucking Wrath of the Lich King dailies to do. I have the Cataclysm dailies to do. I need to go kill the Cataclysm, what do you call it, in Tol Barad guy for some items and mogs and all that shit. Then I have the Legion. Let's get my artifact appearances on all my characters. Like, there's so much shit to do. Not saying it's good shit, but to tell me that it's like, well, oh man, I can't wait for the human and orc heritage armor. What is that? Is that a power something? No, it's just a fucking appearance, okay? There's plenty of other appearances you can farm. So telling me, so if you're coming to me with an argument, it's like, look at this. They're adding the human and orc heritage armor. That's content. Motherfucker, there's so much content of the same fucking level all around the game. This is not actual content. If you don't consider that as content, you cannot consider this as content. If you're not doing that, this shouldn't matter to you. Same with pretty much all the content that they have there. Oh, they're adding a new story to the Dragonflight thing, where you return to the Broken Reach, blah, 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 whatever. Have you done all the stories before fucking Dragonflight? No, just shut the fuck up. So it's not actual content for you because you don't care about the stories of anything else. It's current content, so it's content. Like, fuck off.
3 probably started in and around a similar time to when Season 1 started.
I assume you mean in the next year, not at the exact same time.
Oh, yeah, Season 3 just began. But yeah, in the next year. I think that's a really, really good cadence. I saw some people being like, what, only a major patch every 6 months? Well, that's the season thing. If the season starts to become too short, then that can be kind of frustrating to people. Now, that being said, a season that is 6 months that is Sepulchre is different from a season that is 6 months that is this raid, because this is an 8-boss raid. Yeah. So maybe Season 1 will be a little bit trimmed in order to allow for Season 3 to not have to come out in, like, December. That would kind of make sense to me, because I mean, this is not a big raid. It's a good raid, which is more important.
Yeah,
really good raid, but it's not as big. So overall, then they just say they want like new world events, updates. Systems,
I don't like when people say it's a good raid. Which raid was bad? I can't think of a raid that you can say that was a bad raid. I think Chains of Domination had a good raid, right? Aside from like obviously the fucking systems with Shards of Domination, that was fucking dog shit. But as far as the raid goes, it's a raid. It's bosses, mechanics that like require coordination between 20 people. It's a raid. I don't know. Like, I don't see the difference. Like, what is a bad raid? What is a good raid? I cannot find a good definition of what is a good and what is a bad raid. Emerald Diamond was good. Nighthold was good. Tomb of Sargeras was good. You know, it's like overall, I can't think of a raid that I would say was a bad raid. Overall, right? Is there one bad boss that sucks? Yeah, okay, sure, whatever. There's one bad boss that sucks, like Maiden in fucking Tomb of Sargeras. Sure. But to say, like, a raid is bad... okay, Dragon Soul maybe. No, honestly, I feel like Dragon Soul, it was just anticlimactic. I feel like the raid itself was fine though. Though I didn't play it that time, but like after going through it and seeing the mechanics, like I feel like it felt fine, you know.
Green Holidays, new dungeons, narrative chapters, cinematics, just stuff happening pretty much all the time. Always something to expect. They say the 10.0.7 will have a new quest campaign and repeatable world quests set in the Forbidden Reach, where the Draclear returns, so we'll get like a bunch of story and stuff there, which is definitely good, and that will make the next big patch obvious. Also, heritage armor for humans and orcs. Did see some people being salty about that, because there's already human and orc looking armor.
Warfront. Yep.
The Warfront stuff. Well,
here's the funniest thing though, this is just like kind of off topic. Ian said by the end of the first raid, we will know who the big bad of the expansion is. It better not be the fucking Earth Dragon. It better, like, bro, if that is the fucking main villain of Dragonflight, oh my god, that's such a fucking kick in the balls. Like, it's fucked up. That's so
maybe
sad.
they want to do stuff that doesn't look like the Warfronts. I think that's okay for them to do, and maybe there's a story they want to tell that makes sense to tell. with those two factions now.
Yeah, it's a little bit like, I think, maybe less so with the Orcish stuff.
Recolor.
The human stuff's obviously Alliance. And there's room for the human not being the Alliance. There's room for humans as...
Bro, I can't wait for it to be a recolor of the Warfront sets. Oh, that would be so fucking good. I would laugh so hard if it's the recolor. Oh, man, I'm gonna be so fucking happy.
Humans and not,
Yeah.
the political facts they belong to, and kind of a little bit more of their history there, I think. Just, I mean, obviously if people want more Lordaeron stuff, I can't imagine Heritage Armor deals too much of that. The hardcore thing, because obviously, it was like, hey, you were raised in Northshire Valley, why do you care about Lordaeron as a human? Maybe that kind of thing going on. But it is like, if you were to take it in good faith that they're doing it, you would assume it's going to be different. You would assume it's not them just going, we're creatively bankrupt, let's do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's funny. They will certainly get a lot more flack for smaller things than most game teams. That's because most game teams did not just do Battle for Azeroth and Shadowlands.
And it is also...
We always come back to that.
It is
And
fair.
it's also a thing where I think it's the hard part of people loving your game too much.
That too.
Like, people love World of Warcraft to the point it is, let's just say, somewhat unreasonable. And that just kind of carries through with all the negative sides of that you get. Same with any, like, sort of, like, hyper-intense fandom. It's like, you look at how much, like, I guess, like, Japanese idols and voice actresses and stuff get such an incredible fan base. And then they go on a date and someone tries to stab them. Oh, sweet. Well done.
Did that recently happen?
No, a long time ago.
Oh,
A long time ago.
wow.
But yeah, that kind of
So,
stuff.
she did say that they don't
Fucked up.
want there to be a specific formula for the size and shape of the updates, but the goal is more Warcraft, so more story, more content, more rewards, more events, more tech improvements, less downtime between them. Doesn't want to spoil anything, but she's confident there's at least a couple of surprises along the way that no one is
I'm sure.
expecting. Which, I read that as her knowing that in the interviews people have talked about a Mage Tower-like experience and alluded to an archaeology revamp. Maybe I'm being, like, too, reading into things. Who knows? But overall, it's pretty good when we actually look at the roadmap then. Trading Post, Primeless tomorrow. Who knows what's going on in there right now? There's some world quests that can appear
Primeless
there.
tomorrow, is the patch out that soon? Wow.
Well, here's the weird thing. It's called the Primalist Future in the game right now, but it was originally called the Primalist Tomorrow. So I have to assume this is just them and the team also not being sure what it's called. But anyway, content in there would definitely be pretty good. Like, there is already content in
So
there.
there's
It's just
the
pretty sparse.
Trial of the Elements and occasionally a world quest. So I guess they're going to add some, like, a quest in there and kind of expand it a little bit. Just because there's a lot of potential in it, so why not?
Yeah. Of course, the Trading Post.
Yeah.
We've got White and Grey Transmogs, Forbidden Reach stuff, so outdoor world content in the Forbidden Reach. Hopefully it's more than just, like, world quests happen to spawn there, too. Heritage Armor, holiday updates. I think that's pretty big.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
Depends on
Definitely
what
they're
they
good.
are, but yes.
If they're good. If this arrives and it turns out that, like, say,
More
Easter
dailies.
through to Brewfest have actually just been revamped, like, that would be insane.
Yeah.
That maybe is a little bit too much, but there is, you'll notice, for patch 10.1.7, which happens in the fall,
holiday
more
refresh.
holiday refreshes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what the difference is between a holiday update and holiday refresh.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Maybe this is an update to existing things. Maybe the refresh is a... Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
They already increased the drop rate on holiday mounts, which, by the way, in my opinion, should be 100% with the token, but whatever. Maybe that's what the refresh is, or maybe that's what the update is.
Maybe it's a case of update is, hey, we've thrown a couple new toys into Brewfest.
Wow.
And then refresh will be, hey, we've made Winter's Veil actually a bit different this time. I think that's the thing where people are like, oh, like Winter's Veil now. They're like, wow, why is it the same as always? Like, yeah, they'll probably get to it. But just on the...
I mean, have you played
tomorrow,
Winter's Day in Guild Wars 2? Now that's a fucking event. Okay, that's a fucking celebration. Like, so many fucking things to do. What do you have in WoW? Just go kill Grumpus, and then go to WoD, do these dailies, get this token, buy this box, and hope for a 2% or 1% chance to get Grumpus as a mount. Damn. Now that's an event. God.
Someone mentioned in chat, sorry, I forgot who it was, said that there's a blue post on it, and you're right, there was. It is a new event has begun taking place in the Primalist future. The blue post calls it the future. Shit, the tomorrow's a better name. Anyway, head to the portal that can be found at the Temporal Conflicts, and the Storm's Fury event will spin up every 5 hours. The Primalists are bringing strongest forces to bear to preserve their plans and dominate Azeroth. You'll head out with a group of mighty adventurers to seal their portals. And then you'll receive the Essence of the Storm, which will be exchanged for rewards. And you can buy stuff to help weather the storm as the Primalists try to freeze their enemies to the bone. Testable in PTR later on.
Oh!
Sounds like fucking invasions, I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty much what it sounds like. Just sounds like invasions. Okay.
Later update.
Alright, there we go.
Yeah, so it's there's
New event.
that. Yeah, which is, I guess it's like the pragmatic part of me is like, what's the item level reward going to scale to? What's the rewards? Well, then the idea of it being this whatever, I don't know. Knowing them, they probably have 20 million different appearances they can just throw in. But like, yeah, here's like, do you want the Primalist set? Yeah, go farm it. Something that would make sense. That would be it, I think.
Okay, cool. So, Season 2, patch 10.0.1. Sorry, 10.1. New zone,
Standard.
new raid, new PvP season, new M+ dungeon pool, profession updates, UI improvements. So, looks like a typical patch. Again, within that, though, there's a hell of a lot, and we don't exactly know what that means.
Yep.
I saw a lot of people look at that and be like, oh, boo, it's just another patch. And it's like, well,
yeah, it is.
What do you want?
I mean, yeah, that's
10.1 is the only patch that I'm like okay with, because that's standard, and it's like, yeah, what else do you expect in a big patch? You get a new zone, you get a new raid, you get a new season. Like, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what you expect from 0.1 patch. Like, I don't know, like, what else do you want? It's like, fuck. Like, that is enough content overall. Usually that's enough content for at least like 3 weeks if you're just grinding it out. So, in my opinion, the 0.1 patch is the only thing here acceptable. These mini patches don't really do anything for anyone.
Right, that's the thing. It's
like, WoW's pretty good right now. If they can do another patch that's like, hey, here's a patch, it's a new raid, zone's cool, it's things to do, it's fun. Like, that's actually the game.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, it is the game.
I think that's a weird thing where I think with the launch of an expansion, people get spoiled all the time. And it's the same for like every game.
No,
It's
they
like,
don't.
here's the big patch.
No, with
And
the
then,
launch
like,
of an
here's the
expansion, people get a reality check of like same, but different, but still same. That's what you get with the launch of an expansion. Yeah, they get rose-tinted glasses on like previous expansion. Yeah, they can think like, oh, this expansion is gonna be better, and then 10.1 is like, oh, 10.1 is the same as 9.1. Oh, and 9.1 was the same as 8.1. Oh, yeah, that's the fucking cadence. It's the fucking cycle of the expansion. Like, I don't know what people are expecting. This is a vertical progression game. A very aggressively vertical progression game where in one patch you have 60 item level differences. So yeah, like, I don't understand why people are upset about the 0.1. 0.1 is standard. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, this whole roadmap is so standard and offers nothing unique that's like, why do you even care if there is a roadmap? It doesn't add anything. You're just like, yeah, you know exactly what's gonna happen. These mini patches that add some content, it's cool that you know that it's there, but you could see it in the patch notes or people who do videos into the PTR. It's not something you need a roadmap for. It's like making a big deal of the roadmap is fucking hilarious to me.
Place like, could you give us a while at least? So it's like, I think it's kind of awkward because I think the positioning of these as like, hey, there's a big patch, like the season 2 is the big blue one on the roadmap here, and I think that's like, I think that's almost shooting them in the foot a little bit because people will look at the blue ones, go, they're the most important ones.
They
and
are.
They'll say, oh, but that's all the stuff we already have.
Yep.
And then they'll like psychologically underplay the importance, reading the rest of them, go, oh, because I mean, Heritage Armor, Holiday Updates, Forbidden Reach, Mega Dungeon, World Events, Story and Quests, and like the 10.1.7. It's like, that's likely not going to be a lot of time or a lot of content. But it is almost certainly going to be at least you log in, maybe you log in 2 or 3 times, and you just get new quest lines to sort out. as well as all the other stuff that's happening. So just
Wow.
things like more regular things that actually happen, as opposed to what's new in my video game.
Nothing.
Oh, nothing for 6 months. Okay,
Basically.
sweet. That's just, it's a trade-off they have to make, because these are like, there's obviously more stuff in this than there has been before in World of Warcraft, but I think they are also splitting patches up a little bit to get the cadence going. I think people are going to feel a wee bit like, because I mean, like, the mega dungeon usually rolls in with major patches, not. So it's like that kind of thing of people like, these patches are really small. It's like, yeah, but you're getting 6 of them instead of 2. It's like, there's a trade-off there in terms of how people think about it in a way, I think.
No. You get 6 of them instead of 4, because usually there's a 0.5 patch. Now you just get a 0.3, 0.7. So it's not 6 instead of 2, it's 6 instead of 4. And also, all you did was to take a 0.5 patch and divide in 2, basically. You're not really, like, again, like, this is not, like, this roadmap doesn't say anything. Oh my god, and I can't, bro. It's so bad. It's like, the copium of people who, like, are shilling for WoW right now is fucking crazy. The roadmap is so good. The roadmap is so fucking good, bro. Oh my god, look, we have a roadmap finally. And what'd you get in the roadmap? Well, we got, there's usually a 0.5 patch that gives some fixes to the systems and catch-up mechanics. Now we're gonna have 2 of them in between major season patches. And some story progression. Oh, wow. Amazing.
Idle
Sounds like
thoughts, to be honest.
Content and system updates. Right, there's just 2 of those there.
Those are very much placeholder for we don't want to tell you what we're doing.
Yeah, because one of those could just
be.
be archaeology revamp. One of those could be Mage Tower-like experience.
Yeah. Or they could be
looking at season 3
They could be basically nothing, and they could later say, "Oh, that wasn't done in time." A content and system update is we've changed your valor cap or something. Like, it could be anything, but that's intentional linguistically because they don't want to set in stone what they're doing or tell us what it is.
I'm seeing like the additional content and features. So for patch 0.2.
Yeah.
Seems like maybe that'll be the more expansive one. Also, it says new Mythic Plus dungeon pool. So if they do the usual and pull 2, pull the mega dungeon in,
Yeah.
then that means they need to find 6 dungeons we haven't played before.
Yeah.
Because they will have went through the original 8 from this expansion. So I wonder what they'll do there.
The mega.
What do you mean? They can give you 4 of the most popular Dragonflight dungeons and 2 of the old ones. Maybe they can do all 16 dungeons, or 18 at that point. Hopefully they just do like all 18 dungeons and remove the key system, and you can just go into any fucking dungeon you want. Fuck it.
Dungeon will be ready to roll into that.
Yeah, but that's only 2.
Oh yeah.
So there'll be 6 dungeons, which...
likely just recycle some, I imagine. So I imagine if they had more dungeons planned, they would tell us. Because they told us mega dungeon. So well, I assume they'll just cycle around like the fan favorites or something like that there. That's what I expect to happen.
Smart man.
Or unless they just kind of go, it's mega dungeon time again. How many mega dungeons are there? There's 4, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Now, another thing's kind of interesting here. Mm-hmm. We can kind of extrapolate a bit of 2024. WoW expansions come out roughly every 2 years.
This, but then again.
Yeah, it's kind of this, but again, but season 5 is the greatest hits season, like what we had with season 4 of this expansion, or still in Shadowlands mode. Yeah, we'll have that, but it'll be shorter, which likely means there will be a 10.3 that is a full content patch for Dragonflight, which is usually what they do.
Yeah, it'll be weird having that back again, I think.
Yeah, because we haven't had that in a while. Because the game's been banjaxed.
That's
certainly nice to think that there's a large chance we won't have like a big content drought. And certainly if even with Shadowlands being screwed, it didn't have a content drought because they did season 4. And they've also said that their the next equivalent of Season 4 will have more for world content players to do as well. I guess the other thing...
That's... They can just, like, fit it and scale all the existing world content up because it's actually positioned as world content, whereas you couldn't do that in Shadowlands very much. They did it with, like, world bosses, and everyone's like, whatever. So I guess they could do it that way, and, like... Because that's why, like, they're adding, like, this new... I literally forget what it's called. Primalist Tomorrow fighty, stormy, eventy thingy.
No.
Like, that's the official name.
Primalist
they'll add that,
Innovations,
and if they maybe add, like, another couple of those, based on, like, say... We go down to Castle Gar and 10.1, etc., and it's all just, hey, there's a new version of Soup down here. There's a new version of The Hunt. There's a new version of, help the Jardine do something.
Basically what's going to be,
the Jardine or whatever, however that story turns out. They could very much just go, we can scale up for this week. We've scaled up everything in the Dragon Isles.
What did you think?
This week we scaled up everything in Castle Gar. This week we scaled up everything in... Nyalotha in the past, which is definitely where we're going to in 10.2. That's the new zone. Something like that, I imagine.
Actually, no. If 10.2 came out in November... Yeah, no, see, if 10.2 came out in November, actually you wouldn't have time to do another full patch. And then a greatest hit season. Unless the greatest hit season is something that would be significantly larger. Kind of hard to say exactly.
It's really hard to know. It's like I think they'll play it by ear and have it like as long as it needs to be for content creation at the end. So I think that worked out really well for them in S4. Though they went, yeah, we'll just how long does it need to be? We could extend this by as long as we want. We could run this into January, February if we wanted, and people are like, sure, there's no content, but whatever. They'd be okay enough with it, I think.
Yeah.
Who actually enjoy the thing in the game because of the way it was. I think I'll be alright.
So overall, this is a massive win. This is exactly what people wanted.
Yeah, this is a roadmap that tells you there's a future for World of Warcraft, something that we haven't felt in quite some time.
A massive win, guys. It's a massive win.
From the horse's mouth themselves.
A massive fucking win, yo.
I see what they seem to be doing.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, we've went through the crowds and here's the amount of people they have. So obviously
exactly what people wanted.
New,
a roadmap that tells you basically
more
everything you already knew.
And then now they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to make content. They're like, game developers making content?
Well,
2023? Jesus Christ. That's how surprised I am. My ears turned upside down.
He's fucking Dobby mode now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's them actually publicly committing to the stuff. That's what kind of counts.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, they do say, obviously, timing can change. That is true.
But you can't not say that, or you just leave yourself open to being legally shot. Legally shot as in shot within the realm of the legal system, not shot.
Yeah, so there's that. It's good.
Master has given Dobby a roadmap. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really good. There's not too much else to... not too much else to say about it, just than to double down on how, yeah, no, this is so much better than what we've been used to.
Oh, what's the word? Okay, so you know when like he said like people are spoiled by an expansion? I feel like WoW players have been like pummeled down so much to such a low point that any like, you know, it's like they've been put into the darkest fucking dungeon hole, smells of shit and sewage, and rats are fucking biting your legs and shit, and then they open up a little hole that has light coming out of it, and people are like, oh, this is so much better than before. This is exactly what we wanted. This is the solution. This is exactly what we wanted from World of Warcraft. Just a tiny bit of light. The rats can still keep eating me, and like this place can still smell like shit. I'm used to it by now. My nostrils are dead anyways, you know, it's whatever. And honestly, it's kind of massaging to swim in this fucking swamp of shit, piss, and sewage. That's what, like, that's what this roadmap is to me. It's like, here's a tiny little bit of light for you. Now it's all good. It's all better. Oh my God, bro. This might save World of Warcraft. I can't, bro. I can't. Oh my God. Oh, that's fucking priceless. Holy. Yeah, anyways, yeah, that's the video. Oh, wow. Bellular, Jesus Christ. Watch Bellular videos from like 9 months ago and 3 months ago and tell me if you don't see a fucking difference. How the copium just fucking took over his body. Oh god, man, that's fucking good. Anyways, that's the video. See you later. Take care.